Do 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 do. Welcome in, guys. How we all doing? Yeah, not doing too bad, man. Not doing too bad. I'm out at Seversky at the moment. Just trying to get my float skill up. I'm a few percentages away from sandwich bait, so I'm literally just running this at the moment. But how you doing, man? You good? Fantastic little spot, this. Came across it today. It's been working pretty well. Ah, nice one, man. Nice one. Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do for that, actually. Two seconds. Just quickly select a file, a moment. I'm going to pop that down there. See how that looks. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, nice. Level 14. Nice one, man. Where have you been fishing to? Balea? Oldberg. Nice. What have you been doing, Bream? Or have you just been trying to catch whatever you can catch? Whatever's biting. No, I'm going to do this, hopefully, with a bit of luck, I get this tonight. I'm sure that I can push a couple of percent. You know, it's been really enjoyable here as well. This is such a beautiful place to fish. Such a beautiful place. Bream, Bream, perch, few carp, biggest fish ever, 9 kg black carp. Nice one, man. I tell you what, they're brilliant to catch, aren't they, those black carp? It's just nice to see something different, you know, when you're fishing there. You know, there's loads of really, really hot active spots at the moment. You know, it's nice to see that Curry is back. Even, I tell you what, even Volkov. I was fishing at Volkov the other day, and I was really surprised, actually, how many salmons I pulled out, as well as pike. Had almost a 2-hour fight because your setup is bad, but hey, at least you got it in, right? That is all that matters. The fact that you managed to get it in and you didn't give up, you know? A lot of people ult F4, you know, so fair play for bringing it in. Fair play indeed. But I'm enjoying using... I bought this Bolganese rod a little while back, and it was quite pricey, and it's a fantastic rod for what I'm doing anyway. Paired with the right reel, you know, I mean, this is only a cheap reel, but I'm only going after some of the smaller fish, and it's more than capable of dealing with the smaller fish, so... How's it going, man? Welcome in. But no trophies today. No trophies. I've been very close. Very, very close, but no trophies. Thank you for that, man. Oh, what have we got there? Damn. See, I think it's bream that do that. I could be wrong. It's probably like a rod or something. I'm not too sure. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, it's a chub. Oh. Not bad at all. But yeah, as you can see, I am 77.3% on my float fishing. So I'm slowly but surely getting there. The telestick that I have out in front of me is supposed to add 5% to float fishing skill. But the only problem here is the fact that, you know, one, the casting ranges generally aren't that good on telesticks. And second of all, you know, it's quite a fast moving water body, this. So being able to keep your bail alarm open and just let the float go down the river, you know, it's definitely to your advantage. But that is the one thing that I want right now, is sandwich bait, because I absolutely love fishing at Yama. And I know that match fishing at Yama is really, really good right now. Or as I say, it has been for a little while. But yeah, I want to be able to use my sandwich bait over there. See what nice fish I can get. How much percent on bottom? I am 67.8. So I mean, it's not too bad. You know, I mean, I sat there and, you know, did the whole, you know, bream, gibble carp, crucian carp, that kind of stuff at Oldberg. You know, and it does push you up quite a bit, but, you know, there's only so much bream that you can catch. You know, eventually it does get a little bit boring. It does get a little bit dry. But I know exactly what I'm going to do after I get this 80% on float. I'm probably going to end up going over to Elk Lake with my feeder rods, and I am going to fish the hell out of the catfish that are there. Oh, we've got a nice one on. Yesterday you found a spot at Oldberg. Today the spot is dead. That is just the way it goes, man. You can never really guarantee, you know, it's... The one thing that you should be doing more than anything is when a spot is hot for you, just pay attention to the weather. Pay attention to the temperatures. Pay attention to the parameters of, you know, the day. You know, and you can keep track of that sort of stuff. You know, and when you start paying attention to temperatures, you know, you kind of get a sort of an inkling as to when the fish are going to come about, you know. But this has been an absolute dream today. Absolute dream today. Yeah, I'm on all of it. On all of it. Funky looking fish. Yeah. Oh, the torch is on. You ever notice that sometimes where the torch works better in other places? Some places it's almost like it's not even worth having. Later down the line, I might have to invest in one of those little lamps. See if they're any good. just hope that the bite rate... I don't know. I don't know. The previous night, when I was here, it wasn't too bad during the night time. But during the daytime, obviously that's where it's, you know, that's where it's at its best. But you do get bites throughout the night. Just don't let it go too far. No, it's a bit strange. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. It went down, but I did it too early. Sometimes float fishing can be like that. I've tried, like, flicking my rod, you know, like to the side. Just to kind of make sure that hook properly sets. But it's very, very hit and miss. Thank you very much for tapping the screen, guys. I do appreciate it. These guys seem to be coming out now. Nice rud. It's extremely dark, isn't it? But what are you guys fishing for at the moment? Anybody after anything specific? And I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you guys as well. For, you know, helping and making this fishing community grow. It's really nice to see. It's really nice to see everyone getting along, you know, helping each other where we need it. You know, it's crazy. We are one player away from 50 members at DVC Anglers, which is fantastic. More than what I ever thought I was going to get, personally. You know, it's crazy to think that, like, I used to play Fishing Planet an awful lot. You know, I had a fishing club on there. I still do. You know, every now and then I play it. But, you know, I feel that Russian fishing is kind of taken over, really. Going after trout, going after rudd, tension roach. Oh, there we go. But yeah, Russian fishing is definitely taken over. You know, it's that chase, isn't it? You know, that one fish that you just hope to get. You know, I love it. I love it. But, you know, it's nice to see some fresh faces. Yeah. Terminator T10001. Yeah, that's really active at the moment for Curry. That lure. Been working really well, in fact. What I did was I bought 2 of them and just you know, chucked 2 rods out there on trolling, and I just went around following the deep parts, you know, at Curry, you know, and some pretty impressive results, you know, from what it was, I would say probably about a week ago. You know, it was really dead, you know. There wasn't really much life there. You know, you get the occasional perch or pike, you know, but maybe an underweight trout or char. But it was nothing to really kick and scream about, you know. But it's good to see it getting some life back into it. Yeah, it's just a nice. But I haven't really fished here an awful lot. You know, I mean, I've done a little bit when they were doing the anniversary tasks. Of course, I come here for the Shemaya, you know, and all those kinds of things. But after that, I didn't really fish here an awful lot, but it's actually pretty decent for float fishing, this place. You know, and I can only imagine what it must be like when you unlock sandwich bait. You know, that's the one thing I am looking forward to the most. As soon as I get it, I'm straight over to Yama. Oh, he's catching some tench. Some nice weight tench there. There it is. 1.2, 1.2, 1. Oh, they're all 1.2s. Pretty consistent. You got a nice fat bluegill trophy. Nice. Yeah, I need to pay a little bit more attention to Elk Lake, I think. You know, it's such a great place. The fact that it's level 1 as well, you know, the amount of silver that you can actually make there, you know, spin in, float, you know, it's just really good, especially at night time as well. You know, most places die off at night, but Elk Lake seems to be pretty consistent throughout. For those of you watching, if you want a nice setup for Elk Lake, consider using this, the Texas rig, with the bullet sinkers, then the red crystal bead, and the Texas lobster. This has worked really, really well. I mean, as you can see, the lure is nearly 40% wear on it, you know, so it definitely does work. But down over at the 1.9 on the map, it's been really, really good for like largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, even the occasional drum as well, you know. It's really effective. It's been working well for me anyway. But I just can't wait for daylight to come. You know, I mean, to be fair, when you're night fishing, you know, for things like burbot and, you know, catfish and stuff like that, nighttime seems to go really, really fast. But when you, it's kind of the complete opposites. It depends on what fish you're going after. That's what you need to do. Like, I understand this game can be a bit overwhelming. I understand that sometimes, you know, it feels almost impossible when you're not getting anywhere and you're not making any silver. Fish aren't biting, you know, but it's always important, I feel, to have a goal, you know, and you can kind of look past the down days, you know, in this game. Because when you do find a spot and you do find an active bait or lure, you know, it makes it all worthwhile. You almost forget about it, you know. How's it going, man? Welcome in. It's like I was sat at Yama the other day and I was thinking to myself, like, the bite rate isn't the best. It's not too bad, but it's definitely not the best. You know, you've got to spend a lot of time moving around and testing different areas. But then when you think about it, doing that, it's kind of rewarding. You know, you sit there and think, oh, well, I'm not getting bites, so I must be doing something wrong. But truth be told, when you do actually hook on to that fish, you know, it kind of strips away the fact that, you know, the bite rate's slow, and it's more of like, it's rewarding that you can catch these fish. It's almost like a challenge. And I love a challenge. Do I have any tips on to catch more fish at Balea? Well, there's a few things that you can look at. One being obviously the lures that you're using. The spinners are pretty good, you know, the Spiker 2018, the 2016. You know, there's a few others as well that you can play around with, like the Hornet. The Hornet spinners are pretty good. But you've also got to pay attention to how thick your line is. That's a very, very important thing. Because if you're putting too thick of a leader on, you know, or mainline or whatever the case may be, you really need to think about the size of the fish you're catching to the diameter of the line that you're using. See, now, when I fish at Balea, I don't use a leader at all. I just run like a 7-8 kg fluoro straight through. Very, very thin fluoro straight through. You know, and around the sort of 7 to 9 kg mark is, I think, is about perfect, really, for Balea. You don't really need any more than that. I'm currently sat at nearly 5k. You know, the one thing that you've got to remember is that, you know, you've got to have a little bit of patience when it comes to it. You know, you may have the correct setup. The day just might be wrong. You know, the weather just might be wrong. You know, so having a little bit of persistence, you know, and persevere with it, it can be very rewarding. You just need to put the whole silver and XP thing to the back of your head for 2 minutes. I used to worry about silver quite a lot, actually. In the early stages, I was always trying to find like ways of making quick silver, but truth be told, I don't really think there is a quick way of making silver. Especially early on, because you're so limited. You know, you're so limited to where you can actually fish and what you can fish for. You've just got to essentially find a consistent way of catching fish early on. You know? Well, other than the obvious, you know, the cafe orders is where you're going to be making the bulk of your silver. That's your bulk of your silver. That's what you need. You know, it's more of consistency than anything. Finding an active spot that's consistent for you. You may get bored of catching the same fish over and over and over again, but this is why I say it's important to set yourself a goal and just realise why you're doing it. Thank you very much for that, Flaky. I appreciate it. But there are loads of ways of making silver. There's loads of ways of catching fish. Sometimes you've just got to use your initiative, you know, and try stuff. You know, it's all trial and error. Nothing is guaranteed. You know, this is the thing, like, you could go onto the trophy sites, you can look at the official Discord and look at the baits and things that people are using and the spots they're fishing in. But it's not for certain, is it? It's a guideline. It's a rough guideline. There is no guarantee that you're going to catch a trophy fish in the spot that's been provided. You know? It points you in the right direction, but it'll never factor in the weather, the day. It'll never factor in the times. Do you get what I'm saying? It's all very circumstantial. It's just being in the right place at the right time. the majority of the time. But of course, there are easier ways of going about catching fish, and a lot of fish early on. You know, it just depends on what fishing style you prefer at that beginning point. Because let's face it, you know, you're not going to have a lot of silver. You want to know what the best thing is to buy. You don't want to waste your money. You know, you don't want to be floating around feeling that you're doing something wrong all the time, because it'll put you off. It'll put you off. A hell of a lot of people go towards the bream at the beginning. See, for me, I was straight spin fishing. Straight spin fishing. I think I was spin fishing up until like level 16, I think it was. And then I decided to get myself one of the, was it the 149 silver feeder kits? You know, and that did me really, really well. Really, really well. I use that. I'm pretty sure it's the Comfort. Yeah, it is. The Comfort FD360. I use that for a very, very long time. And the money that I got off of using that, I actually upgraded my spinning rod. I actually went with a Siberia Linear. And I used that a hell of a lot at Blair when I unlocked it. Yeah, the thing is, there's nothing wrong. Like, there's no wrong way or right way to fish this game. No wrong way or right way. That's why we have so many options. But don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. You know? Prioritize your skill points. Prioritize your silver. Especially in the early days. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's nice to change it up. I mean, the thing is, you lose nothing by doing both. You know, many occasions I've been spin fishing and I've had a couple feeder rods out, or I've had, you know, a couple of float poles out or something like that. You know, the more rods you have in the water, the more chance you have of catching more fish. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. But by doing that, you're working two different percentages at the same time, which can be extremely beneficial later on. Because what you'll find, you know, is like certain rig types, you know, they're the ones that you want for, you know, in order to be able to catch some of the nicer fish. You know, drop shot out at Norway, you know, that's a big one. Sandwich bait for float fishing, that's also another big one. You know, spinning, having options. It's just good to have options. You know, like a lot of people ask, is it worth, you know, is it really worth investing in the other bits and pieces as well, like lure making, stuff like that? And it'll just be something that you work towards later down the line, but it is beneficial. I think the first thing that anyone should do, to be honest, if anything, is just get your ground bait skill up, because that's gonna be your saving graces. Being able to craft bait, particular bait, is a good one. Many ways you can go about doing it, but you definitely want to, make your life a bit easier. I mean, if you're first starting off, and I'm talking from experience here, the first thing, big thing that I actually really, really invested in, like really invested in, was this. If you're a new player and you've not got yourself one of these yet, set this as your goal. It's expensive, but damn, you need this. You do need this. Because the ability to be able to craft your own leaders, oh. Should you sell your cards? That is completely up to you. Now, I say in the early doors, the silver is probably more appealing. But of course you can complete collections, which obviously give you, once you complete the collection, you get skill points and stuff like that. But I suppose that's only really sort of applicable towards endgame, where obviously you're not leveling up as fast, you're not getting as an, frequent skill points. So spending them wisely is definitely important. But if you're not bothered about the skill points, then by all means sell your cards, yeah. It'd be definitely beneficial for you to have that extra bit of silver in your pocket, This place has gone really quiet. It is still pretty early, but it has gone really quiet. But do you know what? I'm actually going to go through a few options, okay? I'm going to go through a few options. Now, obviously, where I was spin fishing from the first sort of initial thing, that I did in terms of spin fishing, upgrade wise, was this combo, the Siberia Linear S68 ML, and I paired it with the 3000S. Absolutely fantastic rod and reel. This will do you well for places like Balea, 11 kg load capacity, so it does pretty well. It does pretty well. That was kind of like my first sort of upgrade, my first sort of entry into medium light for things like Balea. And I've used this so many, in so many other circumstances as well. Later on in the game, Lower Tunguska, I've used that there. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But then after this, you ask yourself a question. You're saying to yourself, I want to go to, say, Curry, but I'm afraid that my setup is not going to be good enough. So yeah, what do I buy? Where do I go? This was the second choice that I went for, the S70XH, and I paired it with a Siberia 60. Right. Now, this rod and reel made me so much money at Curry. I think it was around 5,000 to 6,000 silver, somewhere around that margin. And I used it for an awful lot, and I still use it today. Fantastic setup. The reel is brilliant as well. But then you kind of sit there and think to yourself, okay, I've got a setup for Curry, and this will do you well. The fish will give you a bit of a fight, but you'll still be able to land them. But now I want something where, let's say I want to go to Volkov and I want to start maybe trialing and erroring, you know, some of the fish that are there. But I also want a setup where I can pull fish in easy at, you know, curry and not have a problem with it, right? So then I started looking at bait casting. This bait caster and casting rod is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I cannot stress how impressed I have been with this setup. This setup is worth every single penny. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I mean, not only has it got 24.3 kg load capacity, the test is between 14 and 70 grams. So you can use a wide range of lures on this thing. But this is where the you know, the meat and potatoes come. This is the I was so impressed with the Zeman Black Box, right? The fact that it's got like a 30 to 40 kg mech weight. This setup, this combo is going to keep you going for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. And to top it off, when I first went into Norway, this reel, right, was the first reel that I was using. A lot of people saying, no, don't do it, you're not going to be able to. But I used this reel and, oh, I managed to save up, you know, as you can imagine, you know, and then I ended up being able to buy some other bits and pieces, you know, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of a guide, a little bit of a sort of a foot in the door of, you know, what you should buy next. Of course, when it comes down to rods and reels, there's always going to be preferences and discrepancies over which rods people prefer over others, but from my experience, those three setups that I've just showed you will do you really, really well for the foreseeable future. Absolutely. And then when you've got yourself a little bit more comfortable, you know, and you've got a little bit of silver in your pocket and stuff like that, then you can start sort of browsing and having a look and seeing, you know, what rods are available to you, especially if you're in the market for like getting up your percentages, you know, paying attention to rods that actually give you buffs and bonuses. It's going to help you out in the longer run. You know, you may pay the premium on it, you know, you may pay that little bit extra, but if you're getting an edge on your percentage, especially during a happy hour, it's a no-brainer, isn't it, really? It is a no-brainer. You know, for those of you that are interested in like your, you know, your float fishing and all that kind of stuff, the Siberian Model 2 T800, absolutely fantastic telestick. I've had no issues with this rod at all. Everything that I've thrown at this rod, I've been able to pull it in, you know, within reason, obviously. But 9.4 kg, you know, really good place to start. And this rod as well gives you 50% towards your XP. No, I take that back. It does not give you 50%. It's this one. It's the Bolganese one. It's the Bolganese, which is also another really good rod, which I'm using right now. You know. But like I say as well, you know, if anybody needs any help, you know, they want any, you know, sort of support in the early game, feel free to join my in-game channel, DVC Anglers. We'll try and help you out as best as we can. Of course, you know, we can only send things within reason. You know, a lot of the items in-game have to be purchased with gold in order to be able to be sent. You know, but things like baits and, you know, the little consumable bits, you know, lures and stuff like that, you know, happy to help. Happy to help. You know, there's loads of support within it, and we're active. We're active. We play every day. Oh. Yeah, it's a fantastic reel. Fantastic reel. Oh, here we go. This is where this spot comes alive. Yeah, they're not the best, but you know, fish is a fish. If it helps the percentage, I'm all over it. Really? We got fit? No way. No way. We've finally managed to hit 50 players. That is so cool. Ah, nice one, man. Well, welcome in. Welcome in. But, you know, we have a bit of banter in the chat, you know. We're just chill with it. You know, nothing serious. We're all here to have a good time at the end of the day. Some serious XP off of these fish. I don't even know why I've got that telestick out, because it's not gone off once since it's been there. I kind of just cast it out and just left it. Oh, yes. Come on. Nice rud. It makes me laugh, like the fish always look sad in this game. Yeah, they're not nice. They're not nice. Like I say, though, am I the only one that does this? But, like, when I boot the game up, and I'm just sat here with my cup of tea, you know, got me float rod out, you know, I love it. I love it. The atmosphere. They've done this game so well. How's it going, man? Welcome in. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Hope you're well yourself. But yeah, it's a nice chilled stream tonight. Nice to see a few faces in here. Some new faces anyway. Hey, level 4. You tried Archie today. Damn. It's a nice place to fish. It is a nice place to fish. You get some really decent silver, some really decent XP from there, you know. But it's finding the good spots, you know. It's finding the good spots and where the boat tickets, you know, those are the big crunchers really. You know, 400 silver for a 5-day boat ticket. You know, you got to be in the right. You got to know where to fish that place. What happens if you get spooled? Well, I mean, if it takes all of your line and it just doesn't stop and it keeps going and going and going, it'll just snap off. You'll lose everything. Unless you're obviously rocking a leader. But you should never really let it get that far anyway, to be honest with you. In some cases, yes. Yeah, in some cases. It just depends on how you set your rod up. More than anything. Because you can set your rod up. I think there's like 2 ways of setting your rod up, really. You know, especially when it comes to like some of the conventional reels and stuff like that. Then you start sort of getting into the territory of mech weights and... But I'd say more often than not, it's always good to have that extra line. You may not need it, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Do you know what I mean? With a float, you know, you don't really need to worry, like with a telestick, you don't really need to worry about putting too much line on it because you're not going to be casting very far. This is Seversky. But this is the thing, like we can sit here and we can kind of go back and forth of, you know, how much line is appropriate, but at the end of the day it really does depend on what fish you're going for. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Hope you were yourself. I'm not hiding anything. That's just where I've put the logo. Yeah, yeah. Tunguska is a fantastic place. Especially for light and ultralight. I can't express it enough. Can't express it enough, like the amount of silver that you make off that place. And it is easy fishing as well. Come on, man. I need this. They need this percentage. Feels like it's taken forever. I probably won't even get to where I want to be today. Especially with a bite rate at the moment. But we'll keep it going. You're trying to fish on a laptop pad. Oh my goodness. Rather you than me. Yeah, just getting some slightly smaller fish now. Go down to a different depth. Notice like 1 meter is pretty universal. Like wherever you go, you know, if in doubt, just try 1 meter. You know? Yeah. Ultralight and light fishing is good at Tunguska until you get yourself a 15 kg Taiman on. Then you're in for the fight of your life. You know, I absolutely loved it. Like, oh, it was funny because like minutes before I actually went to Tunguska with my new light setup, I was in a bit of a back and forth with pricing online, and I thought to myself, oh, do I skimp out and just put like 150 meters on, because the stretch of the river got quite narrow where I was fishing, you know, and I thought to myself, I ain't gonna need an awful lot of line for that. But then I opted for 350 meters, and I'm really, really glad I did, because if I didn't, I would have never have been able to pull that Taiman in. Yeah, the trouble with Yama is you got to move around a lot. Yeah, you got to move around a lot. No, no, this is it. Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, you got to kind of prepare for the worst, haven't you? Really, like when you come into territory where certain fish go for the same baits. You know, like I found that out the hard way at Sura. I was after the Xander at Sura, and I one day I made a crucial mistake. Um, and it ended up, I think it was, I was hooking up, hooked up to, I think it was just over 13 kilo, a 13 kilo catfish. Oh my life. It was the first ever catfish that I'd caught that size, and it fought me for ages. And I mean ages. Like I had sweats. I had sweats with that fish, you know. But damn, it was a lot of fun. Hell of a lot of fun. And I think that was the kind of like the turning point for me. You know, when it came down to, because I was playing a lot of Fishing Planet still at that time. You know, it was all trial and error at that point for me. But the moment, because I love catfish, you see, I love catfishing. And the moment I pulled that catfish out, I was like, yes, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to target. And for the longest time, I groveled over trying to get myself a decent reel, a decent rod that would, you know, be able to go after some of the slightly larger cats. You know, and when I was able to actually do that, God damn, it was so rewarding. Like I looked at it at the beginning where I was like, how the hell am I supposed to get all of this silver? Do you know what I mean? How am I supposed to get to the position that I want to be at? Because everything just feels so slow. And it is. It is. It's incredibly slow. But you will get there. If you put enough time into it, you will get there. You know, and I think as well, when you're part of a community that actually talks to you, you know, and communicates with you and helps you out where you need it, you know, having that little boost, you know, it goes a long way. Really does go a long way. Like when you first start off and you get recommended a spinner, you know, and they say, what spinner should I use? You know, thank you for the follow, man. What spinner should I use? And then people go, oh, the spikers, they're really, really good. And then you go and buy one, and then it's like, what, 49 silver? Back then, it's a 49 silver was a lot of silver. Like, overwhelming. Overwhelming. How's it going, Morton? Thank you very much for that, man. I appreciate it. Which is why, you know, I've got like, I think a good set of ground rules and a good set of morals for, you know, the community that I'm trying to build. And the fact that we managed to reach 50 players today, absolutely incredible. Come on, fish. Might have to switch location soon, because the bite rate has dropped drastically. I mean, to be fair, I could just use a different bait. I am going to try a different bait, actually, whilst I'm here, before I completely give up on this spot. Let's have a play around with the bait. And let's see if changing the bait does anything. But thank you very much, guys, for tapping the screen. I do appreciate that. Oh. Oh. We're getting somewhere. See, I had a feeling. I think the fish was just getting a bit fed up. A bit fed up of the bait type. Put something else on their palate, you know? Come on. You bought Lifetime Norwegian Sea and you're level 18? Damn, man, that's going to be a bit of a boost for you. Hopefully you've got a rod and reel to fish there. So at the moment I'm switching between bark beetle and mayflies. Oh, damn. So you can't actively fish there at the moment. I mean, you probably could. I mean, at Norway, I've fished off of, like, you know, the harbour. You know, you can use certain things. It's not impossible. You know, I've been out there with, like, casting rods and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's not impossible to do. How's it going, Gregor? Welcome in, man. Yeah, I'm at Seversky, yeah. Just doing a bit of float fishing today, you know, changing it up a bit. I love my spinning, but I need to explore other areas, you know. The only real way is to be consistent with catching your fish. You know, that's the only real way. The only way to make XP and you know, the only real way to make silver is by fishing, you know. And I know that sounds a bit vague and evasive, but you know, there are a lot of sources out there that you can go to, which will give you that information that, you know, you're looking for. You know, there's like a plethora of information out there. You just need to do your due diligence and read up on these kinds of things and kind of follow it as it goes, because spots and things and locations they're always changing. Lures are always changing, bait types are always changing. It's just, it can get a bit overwhelming sometimes. But if you're level 20, no, if you're level 18, surely by now you must have some inkling, some idea of what to do. I mean, you've got this far, you know. I mean, I catch myself sometimes, you know, down at Winding, and I just chuck the light setup on and bang a spinner on it, and I'm away, you know. It's not a bad sichel. I love the colour variation on these fish. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure 4828 is still active for bream at the moment. You know, so if you've got a feeder rod, you know, get yourself down to 4828 and, you know, do some bream fishing. I haven't seen a bit of skill percentage in a little while now. Yeah, 4828, clip 10 at Oldberg. How many hours I've played? Well, 754 hours. Does anyone have any cottage cheese? Yes. But this is what I mean, like, getting your ground bait, making skill up is definitely what you need. Well, each in-game day is an hour, isn't it? So, you know, days in game. What was it? Cottage cheese. That should keep you going for a little while. So I am using a hook size 20, 1 meter depth, and I'm flicking through mayfly and the bark beetle. Coordinates are 126, 121. I think I got 77.3. So I'm very, very close. If I don't do this tonight, I will definitely do it tomorrow during my happy hour. 100%. But I would suggest if you're coming here to do this, definitely go down the route of, you know, using a Bolganese rod or, you know, a match rod or something like that. You know, the telesticks are okay, but it's definitely beneficial to be able to run your, you know, your float down the river. But before I started the stream, I managed to catch like, what was it, like 87 fish from this spot. So I've probably overfished this. Which is why I'm flicking through baits. Still no skill percentage. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, if you find an active spot, you know, and it's producing you fish consistently, milk it for what it's worth. You'd be silly to move from a spot that's active, you know? Of course, there are like telltale signs, you know, that you need to give the spot a rest, but it's a big river. Like even in moving a column down, you know, or a column up, whatever, it can just change like night and day. I am going to put that on there a minute, but oh, let's reel it back in. Let's see if I manage to get anything on this telestick, because I've not used it an awful lot. There are certain areas. But I love this telestick so much, simply because of its load capacity. You know, I was pulling like 10 kilo grass carp out the other day. Oh. Well, I'll be. Yeah, it's just these daytimes seem to be going really quick. Like really quick. But hey, I might even go down to Oldberg, see if I can pull some more grass carp out. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, it can be. It definitely can be. Let's... Oh, I should sell my fish before I go anywhere. Ah, 150 silver, I'll take it. Pays the bills. Right, let's see what happens. Love this spot. 2167. Thank you very much for the follow, man. Just got to wait it out. See what happens. Oh dear. It's good though. You know, it's strange because I tend to catch things better here at night. Oh dear. But where is everyone at the moment? Where are we all fishing? What are we all fishing for? Oh, apparently I've got no connection. Oh, it's going. That wasn't long. Definitely playing around with it, isn't it? There we go. Gosh. See, I love doing this. If you haven't tried going for these guys on a float pole, oh my life, give it a go. Give it a go. It is so much fun. Just straight. Yeah, you just cast straight. In the middle. Clip 10. Oh, this is popping off. Look at this. Go on, take it. You notice how they like to play around with the bait a lot, don't they? That's not quite gone down yet. I want to see it run with it. There's a little one. Here with a 5 kg Bolganese and it spooled you. Oh man, when I used to come down here for like bream and gibble and crucian, you'd always get that like one stray common that would come through and just rip your equipment. They're such a nightmare, those commons here. Especially if you're not like targeting them, you know, that's when things go that's when things go a bit wrong. Yeah, you just gotta wait it out. You gotta be patient with it. Just got to remember, this is why it's called fishing and not catching, you know? Can't stress that enough. You broke a few reels with those commons, yeah. They do catch you off guard. You have to be careful. The thing is, though, you're never to know, are you? You know, in the early stages of the game when you're playing around with like light feeders and all that kind of stuff, you don't really expect to catch something like that, and it really catches you off guard, doesn't it? So, is there anybody here that predominantly plays predominantly does bottom and feeder fishing? No? Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of come away from the game for a little bit though. 69. I think it was 150 kg for a trophy halibut, and he got 145. So damn close, man. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely had a fight with it, that's for sure. But, you know, this is what I mean. One day we'll all be in a position where we can fish out there for the monsters, you know? It's just... It feels like a very, very steep mountain to climb, but you got to be in it to win it, you know? Got to be in it to win it. Like, there's loads of things that I want to do. I want to pursue carp fishing a little bit more. Yeah, there's lots of avenues, lots of options. I don't know if I'm going to get many bites here. It's a bit slow. The one thing that I would really like in this game is just to be able to sell things that you no longer use. You know, that would be something, even if it was like not the full price you get back. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's like 75% of it, you know, or 50% of it, you know, just being able to get something back off the things you buy, you know. I mean, imagine this. Imagine if you could recycle your broken equipment and use that recycled material and use it towards, I don't know, you're crafting your lures or, you know, crafting something. You know, I think it would be pretty incredible. Just being able to kind of like reuse what you know, or even temporarily fix them. Because people do that in the real world, you know, they temporarily fix rods and things like that. You know, I've seen people like use bits of rebar and stuff like that, you know. Thank you for the follow, man. I don't know, like there's a million and one directions that they could go with it. Million and one directions. Thank you for the follow, man. This doesn't seem to be producing too well. So I'm going to go to Curry. Let's have a play around at Curry. What is it? Number 5. About 90 on that. We will put only 20 back on, and we will go back on the mayfly. Let's go down here and have a play around with the Vendace. See if I can get any percentage off of these guys. This rod is definitely OP for what I'm about to do. You never know here, because lake trout do go for mayfly. And it does happen a lot in this spot. So it's probably not such a bad thing. You imagine, first cast out, first fish I pull in, trophy. But it did give me a percentage. Yeah, you've got to be so careful. So careful doing this. They catch you. It will catch you off guard. It really does. I've got a new setup to try out as well out here. Well, sometimes it's, it's fishing in areas and not kind of realizing that, like you would never think curry. I mean, curry in the stats is not very good for float fishing. So you'd never really expect that, to be completely honest. It catches you off guard. Mistakes happen. As long as you set your rod up right, you shouldn't really run into the issues of breaking them. That only usually happens either if your main line is exceeded the load capacity of your rod. Nah, you don't want. No, at the end of the day, when you look at it from both sides, at the beginning you want silver to buy the things that you want to buy, but then eventually you will get yourself into a position where you have too much silver because you've got nothing left to buy. So it's essentially it's the same whichever way you look at it. It's nice to have the option, don't get me wrong, but you really need to enjoy it for what it is. You really need to enjoy it for fishing. This is why I don't go competitive. This is why I switch off, to people that gloat and brag. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy for people when they get, trophies and stuff like that. Completely fine with it. But some people's egos are so massive that it's just like, you come on to this fishing game to enjoy it, not gloat and boast and, or take that as an opportunity to knock somebody down when they're having a moment. Do you know what I mean? If somebody's just caught their first trophy, let them have their moment. Not, oh, I got that trophy, blah, blah, blah. Mine was this weight. What was your weight, sort of thing. Just let them have their moment. T. Say 20. Oh, there we go. That's that. Take it easy, man. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, it's just all about having fun, isn't it? Yeah, I know, man. You keep saying that you found a spot. I think every time I talk to you, you say that you found a spot. Go on then. What's your spot? If you want to share it. This is also a really, really easy way of... Yeah, but you're not saying the spot. We know you're at Seversky. We know you that you're on the Bream. Depth 3.8 meters. I'm guessing you're float then. I was going to say, wouldn't it just be easier to use a feeder rod? I tell you what I'm going to do. I think I've still got it on. Yes, I do. Right. So let's chuck this out. Hopefully it lets me put it on the rock. Yes, it does. It's 25. How's it going, man? Oh, that rod has gone off. But I'm probably too late for it. Yeah. See, this is the thing. You can't do both. You can't do both. That's the only trouble. I'm at Curry at the moment. Let's have a play around with that, actually. We'll put the float away for a minute. Lake trout at the moment. Or a nice char. It's still pretty, yeah, it's going to be, it's still too early for these guys. The temperature of the water is really bad. I think towards like the afternoon time when the temperature of the water picks up a bit, I'll probably try this again. But right now it's just too early. You might catch an occasional one if you try hard enough, but I'll just do a bit of float for now. Wait for the ill temperature to warm up a bit. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Oh, beautiful place though, this, isn't it? Beautiful place. Do you know, it would be really, really nice if they was to put a pair of Polaroids in here. Because that glare can get a bit much after a while. You still don't know what? You don't know how to get that camera up. I mean, it is like right in front of your face, mind. It is like right in front of your face. If you go to settings and general, right down here it says extra camera on the float. Just set it to show always. This is 93-101. Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all good. Glad I could be of assistance. 1 meter. Size 20 hook, mayflies. But just be careful because on the occasion you do get a lake trout. Yeah, no worries. I still can't get over the fact that we've got 50 people in this channel. Honestly, I'm absolutely blown away. I never thought I'd get 10, let alone 50. God, they don't have to like to play around with the bait, don't they? Just take it so we can move on. How do you join? So if you press Q on your keyboard, it'll bring up your chat. If you click on the cog, at the bottom it will give you a search bar, and you just type in DVC Anglers. The name of the channel's in the top right hand corner of your screen. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Like I say, in this community, I'm very much about educate rather than intimidate. You know, if somebody's having a hard time and they're generally asking questions, you know, it's not an opportunity to belittle somebody, make them feel already uncomfortable being in a new environment with a bunch of people they don't know. You know, it's about respecting each other, just having a good time with it. That's what it's all about. But I appreciate you joining. Thank you very much, man. Seems to be a bit slow here. I am getting bites, but yeah, that's it. The thing is, as well, even like if you are interested, in my bio, you will see a Discord link as well. We all jump in there and just have a laugh, just in the voice call. You know, on occasion as well, I will put a multi-stream tab up so you will be able to, you know, share your fishing, show your fishing. I think we had what was it like 8 people? And like 8 people all up at once, which is crazy because there was just so much going on. You just didn't know where to look. But hmm. What pole? This ain't a pole. This is a golf club, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. Extremely. Extremely. But I hope that answers your question. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't tell you. It's such a massive secret where I bought this, this telestick from. Yeah, massive secret. I mean, if you think about it hard enough, there's only one place. But, I'm sure you'll figure that out. Thank you for the follow, man. Is that a fish? Do you guys remember that? Oh dear. Oh, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm using a mayfly at the moment. Oh, that went down nicely. Oh, I appreciate it. No, I've not caught a basking shark. I've caught a Greenland shark. It must be that time of night. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was actually my PB, actually. Yeah. 57.5 kg Greenland shark. This is the Blade Spirit 700. Oh dear. I think user's very enthusiastic tonight. He thinks by spamming the same question over and over and over again will get him an answer. That's all right. We'll let him go. He'll get tired in a minute. Soon he'll realise that, he's just wasting his own time, nobody else's. Oh dear. And this is your downfall, Julian. You join in with it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Little bit of fun for the evening. You always get them, don't you? You know, you always get them. Not doing too bad, though. Right, let me catch up with this a minute. Ah, right, okay. Well, that's that gone for you. Come on, fish, where are you? It is extremely slow, but I am gonna get my spinning rod out and do a bit of spinning. I don't know if this is going to be a good day for it or not, but we will find out. I do, yes. In fact, I'm waiting on some new fishing gear as we speak. I can't wait, honestly. You will see some lives of me actually fishing at some point. Yeah, they're both really good games. They are. The thing is, it just like all the gatekeeping's got to stop. All the gatekeeping's got to stop with with it. Like there are so many great fishing sims out there, you know, that offer so many different approaches to fishing. I think you've got to be really narrow-minded if you can sit there and confidently say that one fishing game is better than the other. You know, you can have your preferences, you can have your opinion, but it's when people start forcing that opinion on you, or you know, having a go at you because you're not playing the fishing game that they enjoy the most. You know, I think it's just, like I say, I think it's just very narrow-minded. You know, it's like the console wars, isn't it, really? You know, at a particular age, you know, you bang on about, you know, if Xbox and PlayStation are, you know, which one's better. But then when you get old enough, you, you typically own them all anyway, so it completely rules it off, you know? I do like certain elements of Fishing Planet. I do like the fact that the bite rate is slightly higher. You know, if you want to know, like, if you want to guarantee yourself a catch, you know, it's good for that. You know, especially being able to play with other people as well. You know, that's also a nice aspect of it. But at the same time, it's a blessing and a curse because you do get some people that, you know, set up their gear right where you're stood, you know, or they just keep driving the boat across your way and stuff like that. But I've always said the one thing for me where I play Fishing Planet so much, um, you know, the challenge, the chase just wasn't there for me in terms of fishing. You know, and I was explaining this to somebody the other day, you know, the fish don't migrate on Fishing Planet. You know, the spots never change, you know, so you can confidently go somewhere with a setup knowing full well that if you spend enough time there, you're going to catch what you want to catch. What do you mean we know? I was just answering his question. No, I mean, I personally, I've not actually like actively gone for them, but no, my equipment, I wouldn't even fathom it because it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it for the equipment that I've got. Maybe one day. You know, like I'm looking at it from a perspective of if I was to upgrade my sea fishing equipment, it would have to be both rod and reel. That's the only downside to it. And of course it's expensive. I think I was looking at around like I think it was at 80,000-90,000 silver to get the rod and reel that I want. Which is a lot of silver to chuck it. You know, it's a lot of fishing. Yeah, that's it. That's it. One day, I hope that, you know, everyone will be in a position one day to afford it, you know. It's just the amount of time that you decide to put into the game, really, more than anything. You know, I love the fact that I've still got something to aim for, you know. That's the thing. There's so many different fish that I haven't caught, you know, trophies, blue tags, all that kind of stuff, you know. But I don't actively search for these things. I just come on here to fish, really. Don't get me wrong, it'd be nice, but I'm not really bothered if I do or don't, you know? Yeah, I mean, if you get yourself a decent enough setup, you know, you can catch them on diced potatoes, you know. They don't really take that much to catch them, to be honest. Oh, it's a 7. Nice. I'll have a bit of that. But yeah, it's all good. Right, I need to put that on charge. It was like Call of the Wild, the Angular. You know, catching grass carp on that was a lot of fun. I'm still bummed out at the fact that they pulled the plug on that game. Yeah, it's a real shame. Yeah, you can still buy it, but they've just decided that that's the end of development for it, basically. I'm not sure if how long they intend on keeping the servers up for. Probably a little while. But yeah, they've stopped working on it. Yeah, which is a shame actually, because you know when the game first came out, you know, on PC it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I sunk many hours into that game. Actually got to level 100 on it. I played it that much. You know, and I was hoping that, you know, I mean, when they were first talking about it, you know, there was lots of promises and ideas, and you know what's to come. You know, and I think it was just the reception that they received for it, you know, was a little bit out of their depth, I think. You know, like I say, I think generally, like games like that and games like Fishing Planet, you know, I can't think of any sort of like open world fishing game that supports crossplay. I can't remember the coordinates for it now. I'm really terrible for that. An alligator gar? On what? How's it going, John? Oh, it's a perch. See, I like trolling here. Sometimes casting off the bank pays off. Sometimes. Let me just do this a moment. But anyway, guys, like I say, thank you very much for coming in. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you've enjoyed the stream. I hope you've enjoyed the video anyway. If you're watching it back, like I say, thank you very much for your support. It's generally appreciated. I am going to leave it there. But of course, if you're interested in watching some more future content, you know, related to not just Russian fishing, but other fishing sims as well, maybe consider subscribing, you know, hitting that like button. It definitely helps me out. But yeah, guys, like I say, until next time, you all take it easy. Have a good night. And